Hi, everyone. Welcome to our training titled Sustainability Reporting for Leaders, Managers, and Directors. My name is Korkut, and I will be your trainer and guide for this course. This course is specifically designed for managers and directors responsible for taking key decisions, managing risks, finding opportunities, and guiding the company's strategy. We mean CEOs, CFOs, and managers responsible for human resources, quality and certification, operations, marketing, and others. The course is designed with the 5W1H approach. We took this approach because this is the universally accepted and highly effective framework for understanding any process, problem, or project. And this will ensure that we cover all the essential bases of sustainability reporting that you need to know as leaders, managers, and directors. So, by the end of this training, you should be able to understand the why of sustainability reporting, the philosophy behind the concept, its historical roots, where it came from, and how the global community arrived at a situation today where voluntary reporting, followed by few companies, became mandatory for many companies. You'll also gain clarity on what needs to be included in a sustainability report. In other words, what are you reporting? Typically, sustainability topics fall under three main pillars: environmental, social, and governance, what we refer to as ESG. Stakeholders will want to understand your performance in each of these three areas, and they will be able to do so because your report will contain disclosures on these topics. For example, under the environmental pillar, they might require you to explain how you manage your greenhouse gas emissions and what your plans are for reducing them. Or how efficiently do you manage your waste disposal? Under the social pillar, you'll be required to provide information on, for example, the measures you have in place to ensure workplace safety and employee well-being. Regarding governance, stakeholders might want to know how you manage business ethics, how you detect and avoid corruption, and how you manage compliance. However, the specific content of your report will depend significantly on which of the three major reporting frameworks you follow and what type of materiality assessment you must undertake according to the framework you use. For instance, the GRI framework, which is a widely used global and voluntary reporting framework that first came out in the year 2000, requires you to make impact materiality assessments. The relatively new IFRS framework, on the other hand, which was developed in 2023 and will soon be mandatory in many countries, requires a traditional, or as some would put it, a financial materiality approach. As for the EU's detailed ESRS standards, which are mandatory for large EU companies since 2024, you will need to conduct a double materiality assessment, which provides a more balanced approach, including both financial materiality and impact materiality. In a nutshell, the ESRS and GRI frameworks are expected to be much more comprehensive compared to the IFRS framework. We'll explain in more detail in the upcoming modules. Since we're going with the 5W1H methodology, we also need to cover the when, where, and who. The when is mostly about the question, when are you expected to report? But we can add some more critical when questions, which you, as a leader, manager, or director, should know the answer to. For example, the most basic question would be, when are you expected to report? There are other questions that need answering. For example, when should you start collecting the data you need? When is the best time to apply for third-party assurance? The where part is a little bit more complicated because it depends on various factors and it's heavily influenced by local regulations. For example, if a framework like IFRS and ESRS is mandatory in your country, the regulations will often specify where the report must be published. It might also need to be submitted to a specific regulatory body or made available in a particular digital format, such as the ESEF format used in Europe. The question where also refers to the scope or boundary of your report. Where within your own operations and across your value chain do you need to report information, which again links back to the requirements of your chosen framework and your materiality assessments. As for the who, as in who prepares the report, while in many countries there's a dedicated sustainability team and a specific manager that is responsible for coordinating the efforts, Sustainability reporting is fundamentally a cross-functional collaboration. It requires input from every part of the organization: human resources, operations, procurement, the legal department, marketing, and the financial team. But that's not all. There are also other stakeholders that you need to engage with, such as investors, customers, your employees, your suppliers, regulators, local communities, and so forth. This is because their input is critical to determine what's material to your business. You can't carry out a healthy materiality analysis without input from your stakeholders, and without a proper materiality analysis, you'll be starting your journey on the wrong foot. But most importantly, you will also learn the how of sustainability reporting. In other words, you will learn the practical steps to prepare a report that meets these standards. We're going to take a step-by-step approach, including how you need to prepare, how to carry out the materiality assessment in order to determine the content of your report, and ideas on how you can collect the data you need and how they need to be reported. We will also cover how the sustainability assurance process works. This is critical because you can't submit a sustainability report without an independent third-party assurance attached to it. So let's begin.